Hi, I'm RaeAnne Thayne, and I'm thrilled today to be here talking about my series, Hope's Crossing, for HQN. Hope's Crossing is a series that is set in a small town in Colorado, and it's really a story about healing in a lot of different ways. It's about healing people's hearts, people's bodies, about healing after a tragedy and how a town is able to come together after something horrible happens in the community and make a difference in other people's lives by transferring the grief and the sorrow that they felt over this tragedy into something worthwhile and warm and wonderful. In the first book of the series, Blackberry Summer, there's a tragic accident that happens when some teens are joyriding and involved in some other activities, and one teen is actually killed in the accident and another one is severely injured. And the first three books in the series sort of are based on that particular part of the series. The first book is about a woman who was injured in a car accident and her recovery and how she learns to rely on other people and how she is the first one who begins to see that perhaps they can turn this sad event into something wonderful for the community. In the second book of the series, there's a teenager who is injured in the accident and her father. That book is called Woodrow's Mountain, and her father, of course, like any loving father, wants the very best for his daughter, and for him, the very best for her is Evie Blanchard, who is a physical therapist, and he wants her to help him with his daughter's healing, and so he brings her into their lives, and of course they fall in love in the process of the story and in the process of helping this young girl heal. And the third book of the series, Sweet Laurel Falls, is the story of Mara McKnight Parker, whose daughter was killed in the accident, and it's her journey towards healing and coming, to understand that her life goes on even after this difficult thing. These books are very personal to me because the community is so important to me in my life. My husband and I have a son who's severely disabled, and so we learned to rely on our community after he was born. We had so many neighbors and friends who've come to help us and to do wonderful things for us. From one day I looked out, my son had been sick for a couple of weeks and I'd been sort of homebound and hadn't been able to do much, and I looked out and some of my girlfriends were washing my windows outside. It was just such a wonderful, warm thing, and I really want to incorporate that in my stories, that we can make a difference in people's lives. My life has been so touched and moved and enriched because of my neighbors and my friends who have reached out, even when it's difficult for them, and have been able to make a difference in our life. When I started this series, I actually did come up with 3 stories that were connected, and originally it was only going to be a 3-book series. I wanted to show the story arc of one event in several different lives, and so that's sort of where I started out. After I did that, I had introduced all these other characters that I was really excited about, and so I wanted to tell their stories. I couldn't stop with 3, and so actually the series is now a 6-book series. In 2013 there will be 3 more books in the series. I believe the title of that one is Current Creek Valley, and it will be out in April. And this introduced several of the people that I've already introduced in the series are now going to have their stories. There was a sister of the hero of the first book that was a main character through many of the books, and I'm excited to be able to tell her story in April. Many readers have asked for that, and I'm really excited to be able to do that. I wanted to give her her own story because she was a very compelling character. She was just one of those people that spoke to me from the very moment that she appeared on the page, and I'm in the process of writing her story right now and just finding so many interesting things about her and so many facets of her character that I'm excited to explore, and I had to find the perfect hero for her, of course, and I think I did. I think he's worthy of her. I'm working on my 43rd book right now, and so after so many books, it can be a challenge. Sometimes readers ask me how I'm able to keep those characters fresh, and the answer to me is that each one is a different person. They really come alive to me as I'm writing their story, and I spend a lot of time digging into the character, trying to figure out who they are and what their life's journey has been. And of course, every one of my characters has had a different life's journey and a different interaction with the people around them, and different things happen, and so of course they're going to view the world from a different perspective, and so that helps me make the series more interesting because I've got different people coming from different places, and they come together, and it makes it really exciting to write their stories. The hardest part of writing for me, I would have to say, is probably finding time to write. My life is very hectic, and I have in addition to our son with special needs, we also have another son, and I have another daughter. And so working my writing life around my personal life is really the challenge. The easiest part of writing for me is coming up with the characters. That's my very favorite part, and it's always been my favorite part. These people become so real to me and become friends. By the time I'm done, I hate to turn the page and say I'm finished, because and that's probably one of the reasons why I tend to write so many books that are connected, because I want to know what happens next. It's not enough for me to say the end and have that be the end. I want to know what happens 5 years later or a few years later or whatever. If there's one thing I want readers to take away from reading the Hopes Crossing series, it is the very core message that each one of us can make a difference in our community. It really only takes one person who is motivated to change other people's lives. I've seen it happen in my own life. I have a good friend who is just that sort of person. She's somebody who is always there at the doorstep, who's always, bringing dinner if you need it. She'll come in your house and wash your dishes whether you want her to or not sometimes. If she sees a need, she's right there taking care of that. And that sort of was the mood I was hoping to create in Hopes Crossing, just this warm and wonderful place where people really want to reach out and help each other through their life's journey. People have asked me why I don't write these perfect little towns, and I know that some people do write idyllic towns where nothing bad happens, but to me that's not real life. And from my own experience, hard things happen to people, but I really hope that readers get the message from my books that you can come back from difficult things in your life and still go on to have a wonderful, fulfilling life, even when you have difficulties and trials in your life.